So now we learn a familiar shape, rectangle and square. Who doesn't remember a rectangle and a square, right? And I know you know what a rectangle is, but do you really know the definition of a rectangle? What makes a rectangle a rectangle? What does it have to have? Yep, it has to have 4 right angles, 4 90-degree angles. That makes a rectangle a rectangle. So it's a parallelogram, so just like we said before, it's got those same parallelogram properties, like opposite sides are equal. Opposite angles, of course, are equal because they're all 90. Angles next to each other are supplementary, kind of redundant because they're all 90, and the diagonals bisect each other. But we have another like special property of the rectangle. Just kind of draw another rectangle here. The diagonals of a rectangle are equal to each other. And they're going to look equal too. So what that means, it's not the best picture, but that means that all 4 of those mini diagonals that bisect each other, all 4 mini guys are equal. And we'll see that in the examples. So we kind of split up the examples, like some easier ones, a medium one, and then the tougher one. So here we see 2 and 2, 7 and 7, of course, and then all 4 of those angles are what? 90, 90, 90, 90. The diagonals are equal, and the diagonals bisect each other, so we're going to have all 7s here. For xm is 7, but k to m, that would be that whole thing, 7 plus 7, 14. xl, of course, 7, and then again, 7 plus 7 is 14. Sides are always easier than angles, but the angles are important too. So here, a good thing to remember here is that all of these big angles here are 90. Well, if they're all 90, this is not going to be 30, 30 again. It's not a rhombus anymore. It's got to add up to 90. So this is going to be 60 and 30, and then it's going to reverse up here because of alternate interior angles, 30 and 60. So 1 and 2 are both 60, and angle 3 there is 30. Similarly, if I come down to 4, 5, and 6, 6 is going to be 60. And then that's going to reverse with 60 and 30 over here. So angle 6 is 60, 4 is 60, and 5 is 30. When I get to the ones in the middle, again, the 120 is done for us, but I'm going to point out that this is a triangle, and 30 plus 120 is equal to 180. If I go across the street there, I'm going to have a vertical angle here. Those two are equal, 120. And then if I subtract 180 minus 120, I'm going to get 60 for 7 and 9. Tougher problem, but that really highlights what's special about the rectangle. Then finally we get to the square. Everybody loves the square. Everybody knows, little kids know a square, right? A square is a regular polygon, so meaning it has all right angles, 4 right angles, and 4 equal sides. 4 right angles, 4 equal sides. Boom, 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 boom. So there's a lot of balance with the square. So it has our same parallelogram properties. Opposite sides equal, opposite angles equal, consecutive angles, supplementary, diagonals bisect. The same main 4. Now, this is interesting. A square is really a rectangle plus a rhombus. Think about it. Think about the definitions. Rectangle is 4 right angles. Rhombus is 4 equal sides. So a square is kind of both. So it's going to have all those extra properties from each one. So because it's a rhombus, the diagonals bisect the corner angles. And that's going to give us mini 45s. The diagonals are perpendicular. They're going to meet in a 90-degree angle in the middle. And because it's a rectangle, the diagonals are congruent. So it's kind of everything. The square has all 7 properties. There's lots of other names for a square, like a square could also be called a parallelogram. A square could be called a rhombus. A square could be called a rectangle. A square can be called a regular quadrilateral. All equal sides, all equal angles, and has 4 sides. Lateral. So lots of names for a square. So the last thing is going to go through like an example, kind of easy, medium, whatever of each square. So these should be easy for you because everybody knows all the angles are 90, all the sides are the same, so 6, 6, 6. Here I've got 8 on the outside, so that's going to be 8, 8, 8, so 8, 8, 8, right? And then when I go on the inside, it looks like 4.5 there, so this is going to be 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. So let's see, SX is 4.5, so is RX, but then from R to T, 4.5 plus 4.5 is 9. Ready for the best part? The angles. Every other shape, the angles were like, oh, that was the hardest part. Not for a square. Diagonals bisect corner angles. Corner angles were 90 to start with, so when I bisect it, I'm going to get a 45, a 45, a 45, a 45. And then in the middle, we said right here, diagonals are perpendicular, and perpendicular is 90 degrees. So it's 90 degrees in the middle. So that is the square, and this is the rectangle.